It's The Naturalist. We are back with a bang today. Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to our sponsors, Nusante and Zigo Foods. You might have seen Zigo and CEO Colleen Cavanaugh at Expo West or Newtopia Now, on the show floor or on stage talking about regenerative agriculture and specialty grain supply chains. If you haven't met them yet, let me introduce you. Zigo makes delicious organic oats, muesli, and superfood oatmeal, gluten-free, food allergy-friendly, regeneratively grown, and made right here in the U.S., and glyphosate-free. And they back this up. Scan the QR code on any Zigo package, and you'll see their latest third-party test results for pesticide residues, heavy metals like lead, and gluten. You can find Zigo at natural food stores near you, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, Lassen's, Jimbo's, Erewhon, and Mom's Organic Market, or at zigofoods.com. And there's a special offer for the Naturalist listeners. Use code PODCAST for 10% off your next purchase. Nope, not but.
No buts. Only
no
ends.
Buts. Starting out strong. I was going to say something about we're going to be talking about fancy food, but speaking of fancy, look who's back.
Yes, I love that. No,
that's
the best
segue?
introduction. Hi, I'm happy to be
Hi,
back.
Jess. I missed you.
Oh, I missed you.
I was so nervous this morning. I don't know why. I just was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. And how's, all the things. It's really exciting.
I know. And then I don't believe that you're nervous because you have been running the show. Oh my gosh, doing so many podcasts, like your Expo West, boom, boom, boom. And that's right when I went on leave. And you recorded how many? 27 podcasts? Yeah, you are the podcast queen. So I am just bow down to the podcast queen. But I'm happy to be back. And like I said, just along for the ride today, because you also just got back from fancy food and all of the things. But yes, I'm so happy to be back. It is so good to see you.
Well, we are so happy to have you. But, before we start talking about fancy food, so, where you been, Jess?
Where have I been? Where have I been? I have.
Are we allowed to talk about this? Is this?
I think so, right? Are we not allowed to? I've been on maternity leave for the past 16 weeks. So I've been back for about a week, and my little sweetie just turned 4 months, and she's just the absolute cutest ever and totally changes perspective, as everyone says. And as you know, but it's just been the most incredible journey. Yeah. And we're just getting started. So I'm also really happy to be back. And I know at some point we'll talk about baby products, because that's this whole just ridiculously massive world.
Your eyes have been opened.
Oh my gosh, totally. There's a whole other world of products. So many are in our industry, and it just gives me newfound appreciation for word of mouth too. It's just every product and, anything that I've been using, I've heard about from someone else who's going into it. And I was really pregnant. I'm what's the one product that you could not live without? And everyone's telling me. So I'm ordering it. And it's been amazing to have so many eco products enter my space. So we'll save that for another day. But yeah, motherhood has just been so great. So as you know, with your little Ellen. So yeah.
Well, you are glowing. You look beautiful, and you look so awake. That's what's getting me.
I'm pretty awake. I'm feeling pretty awake. Yeah, I do feel awake. Although someone the other day said, remember, 4 hours of sleep is much different than 8 hours of sleep. And I was it blew my mind. I'm you are right. Wow. I should stop convincing myself. But actually, Gigi's a pretty good sleeper now. So I've been joking that, if I sleep poorly, it's because of me, not because of her. I'm often the problem. So.
Well, I can't wait to get her on the pod.
Oh, she will love it.
Pod in her friend of the pod onesie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. One of her very first onesies was the friend of the pod onesie that you guys got her, which I think we showed that at State of Natural, I think. But she was represent since day one. So yeah. You just got back from New York. You sent me a photo from Pop-Up Grocer.
Your hat. Yes, I went to Pop-Up Grocer, kind of a long time dream of mine ever since we met Emily and started collaborating with her. I'd always wanted to go. It is such a cool store. And of course, because you know me and my passions, the whole time I was there, I was like, I was with a friend, Nexty product, Nexty product, Nexty product, Nexty product, Nexty winner, Nexty winner. So it was really fun.
So cool.
I felt like I was seeing the Nexty products out in the wild. And especially those products that are small, like there's a couple Nexty products that I love so much that I haven't been able to find to keep buying for myself. So I was like, I bought a lot. And I bought a really cool hat that says groceries.
Sidebar. I think it was like probably like first week or two of leave. I bought like 5 novelty food hats.
Why wouldn't you?
So I have the adorable one that you got me that says
bread.
Yes. And I love it so much. And then I got feta. I got salami. I'm basically a walking charcuterie board because of this. And it's like, so I loved your hat. So that's a mom thing of mine is like novelty food hats. Anyways, I love that you saw so many Nexty products at Pop-Up Grocer. It just feels like they're one of those stores that are so aligned with our mission to elevate emerging brands and particularly what the Nexties do. So that's so fun that you went and it looked beautiful inside. I still have not been either. And so all those photos of how it was set up. But I love just having that that platform for the Nexties and how cool that there are so many of them, which a lot of them she probably found through the Nexties too, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. Emily was a judge. I can't remember what year that was. I want to say 2022. 2022 or 2023. So it's been a couple of years, but fun.
So cool.
It's such a cute
so you
shop.
really made the most of your trip to New York.
I did. I think I walked 10 miles on Saturday. Just all the things, it had been a long time. So it was really fun. This episode is brought to you by Newbies. If you've got a picky eater, this one's for you. We didn't set out to build a brand. We set out to solve snacking for our family and friends. So Newbies had to be the best. Real nutrition and real convenience in a little 125 milliliter pouch made for small hands and lunchboxes, with flavors picky eaters actually finish. And Newbies Plus, for all of us big kids, is now plant-based. Made for our family and yours and ready for your shelf. Learn more at nusante.com. That's Nusante with a G.
So you're at Fancy Food.
Fancy Foods.
Fancy Food.
Fancy Food.
Food.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I was at the show put on by the Specialty Foods Association. Oh, that's the same problem.
Solve that.
This was the first time. So I haven't been to the Fancy show since 2020 in San Francisco. And I had never been to the one in New York. So that was kind of a fun experience. I didn't really know what to expect. So I walked in and it's kind of like this Expo West, big trade show feel. But then, of course, it has a lot of space dedicated to country pavilions, state pavilions, things like that. So that's definitely like a different vibe, even though I know we do have country pavilions, obviously, at Expo West, but it's just kind of a different feel. But where I really found my groove, I guess. I loved, of course, I think they called it the river area. So that was where a lot of these like new emerging brands, like there was a brand that was sampling at Pop-Up Grocer. They were up there. So lots of brand new early stage brands were there, which was very cool. Pacific Northwest brands were up there too. Lots of interesting things from Canada. We always have a lot of innovation and innovative brands in the Nexties from Canada. And then I really loved downstairs was, of course, people that we know and love, but they were almost all new brands to me. The Included section, which of course we have an Included partnership, Naturally Network and Startup CPG. And it was very interesting because there was a lot of different brands and the Startup CPG section, lots of new faces. And that was really fun for me. So I
Oh,
did.
well, I'm excited to hear about some of the like up and comers that you saw. And obviously, we're in the lead up to Newtopia now. So we'll
Yeah.
be seeing so many new companies there. And yeah, I'm excited to just kind of get back in, like finger to the pulse. I mean, I've been just looking out for new brands just personally over the past 4 months. And of course, I've never turned off the like, well, we see you at Newtopia. So I'm
Yes.
excited to hear about some of those highlights. And yeah, I love the regional focus, the international focus. It's been years since I've been to that show, but it's always really cool to see what's happening near and far, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And there were a lot of those brands did say that they were coming to Newtopia, which is exciting. And I also walked the show floor the whole day with Holly Adrienne, which was so fun. And
Oh,
she is just like, oh my God, Newtopia, this. And she just is like, just the best sidekick for any trade show. So that was a lot of fun. We really like got a lot out of that. So I've got some
fun. Okay.
trends. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got some
let's
hot
hear
trends.
some of the trends. I'm actually like, this is so fun today because I'm like, you know how normally we're talking trends like day in, day out. So I
Yeah.
kind of like know what you're going to say next. I actually have no idea what you're going to say. And I am so excited. Like, this is very fun. I'm on the edge of my seat to hear what Adrienne Smith saw.
Me too. No.
Yeah.
So this is a trend that's not new. We talked about this last year when we did our trends roundup, but it is still going strong. And the cool thing is that I'm seeing a lot of new formats, and that is bone broth. So remember we talked about like the soup thing and bone broth and like that nourishment. So the interesting thing is there was bone broth being turned into kind of other formats. So there was a sparkling beverage company called Maro, that's 12 grams of protein and like peach flavor. You know, it's a functional bone broth sparkling beverage.
Okay,
Then,
wait. So wait, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's
Mind
boggling my
blown.
mind. So it's like,
Yes.
yeah. So like, they're taking like a culinary approach, but like, is it like a sweet? Like, are they basically like somehow getting rid of any sort of bone broth flavor and using it as like a functional ingredient only, and then having flavors such as peach and blah blah. So like a sweet sparkling beverage, but infused with bone broth.
I think it's a bone broth that has carbonation and flavor added to it.
Okay, interesting.
And if that blows your mind, let me see. This is going to really blow your mind. Look at this. Beck's broth. It's bone broth hot chocolate.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So same idea. 15 grams of protein in this little pocket. Of course, I don't have my glasses. I can make it go really far away. Grass-fed New Zealand bone broth, sea salt, cacao powder, and sugar. So, and it's delicious because that bone broth gives it like a kind of an umami undertone. So it's not that very cloying hot chocolate. It's like kind of, oh my gosh. So such a cool idea. So we're using bone broth in lots of different ways. Very cool.
I'm wowed.
Yes, as you should be. And then for more traditional bone broth, but just with a twist, there was this great brand called Reclamation Bone Broth. I really love this brand. It's a Korean style bone broth. So I talked to the founder for a long time, and they're just making it in the traditional way that they do in Korea. He was using a family recipe, and it's just this really rich, delicious bone broth that he said his fiance uses to make ramen all the time, but it was so good. I would just drink it. And one of the ones that they had that you don't typically see is a pork bone broth. And
I don't think I've ever seen that actually.
Yeah, really interesting and just really focused on good sourcing. This founder actually used to work at White Oak Pastures. So really good meat sourcing. That's not where he sources the meat. Now it's more local to the New York area where it's made, but just really cool products. So traditional, atraditional, different formats for bone broth. You heard it here first.
I think that's so fascinating. I would love for us to talk to some retailers about that. Like if they're bringing in new bone broths, how they make room for innovation in that category, because I still feel like it's a pretty small section on store shelves and you tend to see the same like 2 to 3 companies, at least in like your more kind of traditional natural grocery stores. Sprouts is one that comes to mind because they do such a great job with bringing in new products. And like I buy my bone broth there there, and there's a couple brands. They're good brands, and they seem to be launching new products. Anyways, future, let's talk to some retailers about like, hey, are you bringing in some of these really kind of up and coming or like outlier innovation areas in the bone broth space? Because I'm pretty intrigued by that.
Yeah, and my other question is too, because I don't know what the price point is on something like this, but is this an opportunity to also make it more accessible price-wise? Because bone broth can be an expensive purchase, especially for the quantity that you get, which obviously is packed with nutrients and protein, in a small quantity, but it can be quite expensive. So I'm just curious, like, how does this affect in terms of accessibility or price for the protein and the quality that you're getting?
I'm curious about that too, actually. I have like a little thing of bone broth that I've basically been saving since like a week postpartum. I don't know what I'm saving it for, but I like bought it and it's just in my cabinet because it was very expensive and it's very small. And it seems like it's like how I used to think about fine wine, like I just wouldn't drink it because I was like waiting for the right moment. Like, oh, fine bone broth. Yes.
You know what you're waiting for? You're waiting for Mickey to be out of the house so you can drink it all yourself.
Exactly. I'm just going to like go while like binge it and binge watch like my favorite rom-coms. Yes, things have changed indeed, Adrienne. Okay, I love that trend. You're right. Not new, but lots of new stuff there. So
another trend that is not new, but we're still seeing obviously are global flavors, but found a couple of cool innovations there. One of those is called Bari. It's an Asian inspired baby food company. So baby food pouches, they're made in Korea. The two founders, I believe, are Korean American. And their flavors are things like Korean seaweed soup and Japanese veggie curry. So again, that idea of bringing savory dishes to babies, which is really cool. Got to get some for Gigi when she's old enough. Open that palate.
Yeah, we're getting there. That's so interesting. Yeah, I love that because obviously my head's in that space too. But I think the savory, like both global for baby foods and then also savory, continuing to see more in that space because I've been thinking like, gosh, the amount of sugar that just comes from, not that it's bad, but like to have these like fruit-based purees, but seeing a lot more veggies and a lot more kind of unique flavors in that space in particular. I'm really curious to see if that takes off because we've seen that for a few years in some interesting companies. But I don't know. Did Ellen like savory when she was a baby?
I didn't buy baby food in Spain. I just gave her regular food. Like there wasn't as much stuff available, there were no like pouches or anything like that. So I think she just was like gnawing on a chicken leg. Lots of dumplings, of course, but one brand that I really liked is called Chenzi. And this was a dumpling that is a traditional dish, they said, found in Fuzhou, China. And I'd just never seen it before on the market here. And it's kind of like a dumpling and a mochi come together. And it's almost like a thin, chewy potato layer on the outside of the dumpling as opposed to the traditional dumpling wrap. But just so flavorful, really delicious. And I love the idea, again, that it was a traditional recipe being brought to market. That was pretty cool. There was a drink that I love called Purple Drop, which is chicha morada, which is that purple corn from Peru. Oh, yeah. It's a typical Peruvian drink. And so they were selling that as its own canned beverage, which I thought was really unique. Lots of matcha, lots of guava. So many things were guava flavored. Hot new flavor this year. Well, new flavor. But I love the natas empanadas. They had a guava and cheese Colombian flavor, which was so good. I don't think that's their newest flavor, but it was so delicious. So lots of global flavors, sauces, condiments, all that stuff. Dairy, of course, is still trending. Bezzy was there with some really cool new Labna snack packs. There was sour milk yogurt. There was a cottage cream that I think the brand was Etelka. And cottage cream is like quark. Have you ever had quark? It's like a creamy cottage cheese kind of.
Oh, yeah.
There was a brand called Recreate with the number that was a protein ice cream, but it was kind of done right. It was whole food ingredients, really rich flavor, 40 grams of protein in that pint. So that was cool. So dairy was still there. And what am I going to say now? dates. Dates are still a thing.
See, I've been so out of this for so long that I wasn't, you're like, what am I going to say? And I was like, no, what are you going to say? I want to be able to fill in the blanks. We will soon in like a month, but dates. Yeah. So did you find that it was a lot of date sweetened products, or was it a celebration of dates?
I think both. So this brand has obviously like been an Expo West exhibitor. Squirrel. It's these stuffed dates. They're kind of like delicious Snickers bar. I don't know what they're. Almond butter stuffed dates, but they taste like candy. They're incredible. But then lots of date sweetened chocolate for sure. So I feel like dates are still going strong as a sweetener. And then I also, because I know this is going on a long time, I don't want to say everything or take too long, but I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of really cool additional innovations I saw. And one of them I can't find anywhere, but I brought it home. I'm going to blame it on Ellen because she thought it was so cute. Sure, it's not her fault. It's called Honey Department. It's a tube of honey that looks like one of those aluminum face cream tubes. But it's honey. So I actually was talking to the founder. I was like, I don't know, you might want to make it a little bit more clear that it's not personal care, but it's so cool. So it's in an aluminum tube, which eliminates the heavy jar, and it eliminates the plastic honey bears, which aren't great for the
adorable,
earth.
But yeah,
adorable.
But not great.
And it's always hard to get the honey out of like the ears and the tail. So very cool format from the honey department. And another thing that I thought was really cool. Have you ever heard of Kupwaku? Probably not, because I probably butchered the pronunciation. But it's an Brazilian botanical that's a cousin of cacao. And this brand called Figa is using it in these Kupwaku bars. This is a very little one.
So it's like a chocolate bar, but made from a different ingredient.
From a different bean. And it's very interesting. And he said that typically it's an ingredient, it's very high in antioxidants. It's used in a lot of skincare products from Brazil or sourced from Brazil. But I thought it was a really interesting ingredient that I'd never seen before. So maybe
you gave me too much credit that you thought that if you had pronounced it correctly, I would have known what it was, because no matter what the pronunciation, I don't think I know that ingredient. That's interesting though. Was there, because I'd like to see if there's more examples of this, of alternatives, because obviously like the chocolate industry comes with its fair share of challenges, and especially recently around, trying to be sustainable and also accessible pricing and keeping up those sustainable and ethical supply chains. So I'm curious with an ingredient like that, if it was, primarily health focused, like, oh, the antioxidant content is so strong, we're going to go with this, or if it's like we're trying to come up with a better alternative for supply chain issues in that space. So just curious there.
That's a great question that I was asking myself as I was talking about this just now, and thinking, why didn't I look that up before we got on this call?
We will. We have all the time in the world. We'll look that up. But I'm glad you called it out, because let's see if more companies are trying to figure out, sustainable and cost-effective alternative supply chains, and talk to our friends at Supply Side about that too, because I know they're staying really close to those issues. But I love it. Was it delicious?
So delicious. And I want to say there's an upcycling story there, but I'm afraid to, because it might be wrong. But I think there is. So delicious, upcycling, wonderful, Brazil. What's not to love?
I like it. And I like that. I want to say that, because you're not saying it. You just want to.
So many more trends, obviously, fancy food. I'm going to be writing about those for newhope.com. So make sure that you check that article out. And I will just say finally that New York and fancy food, it was such a great vibe because of the World Cup. And there was the England-Panama game went on. Also, Gay Pride was, the parade was on Sunday. So the whole city was just like happy everything was happy and people were so nice. There were people from all over the world. And the funny thing was at Fancy Food, these two people walked down the aisle wearing FIFA shirts, like that they worked for FIFA, the World Cup organization. And everybody's heads turned as if it were like complete celebrities walking down.
Oh, I love that.
So people were super excited. So that was just a really fun bonus.
That's so cool. What a great celebration. Yeah. And I love that it was just like feeling like, oh, this global community. And then that's what you felt at Fancy Food too, of just like people and products and just a celebration. And interesting too, how competition can also bring us closer together, right? The World Cup is like, we're competing, but we've never felt closer. I love that. I'm jealous that you got really, well, I'm not, because I love just being in my little house with my little baby, but I do think it sounds like an amazing trip. And I love the trends that you reported on. So can't wait to read more. And then we'll have lots more coming up on trends that we're spotting for Newtopia now and just out there. So this was so fun. Oh, I've
so glad you're back.
I'm back. And again, thanks for having me. Thanks for not giving me the boot for another one of your fabulous co-hosts that you had. That is a lead.
There is no replacing you, Jess.